Hi, welcome back to Open Hand Farm. Today on our garden tour, I just want to show you a few highlights of things that have really changed this week. We've had some really good rain, like 2.5 inches. Some things have really taken off, so let's see what we can find. The coreopsis out front has just taken off, and you can see all of this calendula. I did come out and kind of move some of it around. I'm not sure how it will do. The bee balm is really tall. Just a general overview of things here. I want to show you this lettuce that I had already picked, and it has come back with a vengeance. Under here, you can see I cleared out all of the arugula and I thinned the carrots, so that's all we have in here now, and they are doing great. Last week I showed you beets. Well, they are getting much bigger now. I could probably go ahead and pluck a few out of here. The kohlrabi is doing great. We're getting several heads growing, and that's here in the whiskey barrel. Let's check the kohlrabi in the planter. This one is in the shade more. Oh, there's a good one. Yep, they're coming. They're a little bit slower behind, but they're doing well. The raspberries are getting more and more berries on them. Well, let's see how those tomatoes are looking. I did get them strung up this week. If you can see that string that goes around the plant, and then it goes up to the cow panel, and then eventually it will grow from this string all the way over the cow panel. And that's what all of these tomato plants will do. Now, when I strung these up, I used a new type of stringer this year on part of them. And the string wraps around this and then it comes down. So what you can do is, this one is adjustable. So if the plant starts to go left or right, you can move it along with it. You can just slide it over, or if you need to make the string tighter, you can wrap the string around that to tighten it. So it's supposed to be better than just using string, but I don't know that it is. I ended up holding the string in the ground with a little stake peg thing that is used for ground cover, and then a little clip to hold the string to the tomato plant. So all of this row is on one of those strings. Whoops, look at that. This little guy didn't get a string. I had my granddaughter out here helping me. We must have missed him. So I'll have to come back and give him a string. And this side, there were two or three that had the new kind of string attachment, but all the others, I just used a regular string, wrapped it around, tied it to the peg, and tied it to the cow panel. All of these got strung up with the string also. This is kind of a nylon type of string. It's not just a regular jute. And I doubled it on these so that it can be sturdier. These plants are smaller, but I was able to wrap them a couple of times. So as the plant grows, I will just take the top of the plant and wrap it in the twine so that it goes straight up the twine, like I said earlier, and then over the cow panel. These are indeterminate tomatoes. If you don't know what that is, that means they do not have a determined size that they will grow. They will just keep growing. So if we lived in a warmer climate and they were perennials, they would probably grow all the way over this panel and then back down the other side. Now, a determinate tomato plant is one that you usually pick up at a big box store, so like a beefsteak or something like that. And you can just put a cage around those because they will only grow to a certain height and then they will bear their fruit. The indeterminate will continue to bear fruit until the plant dies. All right, as I walk towards the potatoes, you might notice something different. We put the electric fence up around the corn as well as around our rabbit tractor. So we don't want anything to get in there and sneak up on our bunnies. Even though they are in wire, fox hands and raccoon hands can fit through there and scratch them up if we don't protect them some way. And Mark just mowed a strip through here where the fence is in, and you might be thinking, I think he missed a few spots. Well, that is left behind for the rabbits. Each day we move the tractor, and you can see here where the rabbits have been, and it looks like it's been mowed because they are eating that grass up, and they really love being in this box. Look at them grabbing that grass. Look at all of the mulberries. They still haven't all changed. But there's a few dark ones in there, and those are the yummiest. Our 2-year-old elderberry has flowers in lots. They aren't big clusters, but there are clusters. The strawberries have really enjoyed this rain, and they are so pretty and red. There aren't a lot of them, but this is a new bed that we just established in the fall, so this is their first year. I just have to beat my granddaughter to them. Over here behind the hen house, we are trying a new idea, an experiment that we saw on a YouTube channel. These are going to be green beans. Oh, there's one right there. The idea is you plant your beans, and you can plant them in grass. It doesn't matter, because what you're going to do is basically nothing. You're just going to let them grow. You're not going to pick them, and after they stop getting blooms on them, you pull the whole plant out and pick the beans off of it and process them, freeze them, whatever you want to do with them. So we have planted 56 green bean plants, and we're just going to see if it really works or if it's something we want to do again. We're just always wanting to try something new and different. These blue Hubbard squash have just exploded with this rain. Both squash and pumpkins have really gone to town too. I know the last time I was telling you I didn't know if they were going to make it, but they're looking really good. Well, I was able to lay down some cardboard, and Mark helped me put some mulch down over it. So we were able to cover up some of these weeds. And the rest of it we just covered up with our black fabric because it's a walk area. We never plant in it. I am going to plant more kale right along here, so I left that available and tried to weed out as much as possible. The next thing I'm going to do is cut back all of the mint. I don't want it to go to seed, so I need to cut it back before that happens. But I also want the sun to be able to get to my squash better, but it is really doing well in there. Hopefully it'll continue and it'll actually produce. So while I was weeding in here, the biggest thing that is taking up a lot of space, and I won't call it a weed, but it's the calendula plant. And I know I showed you all the calendula I have out front. Well, I have it all throughout this garden, and I have pulled it from the walk spaces. And if it just looks way too thick. If you're wondering why I like calendula, it is a very beneficial plant. The orange flower that it produces is an antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, good for skin, just all kinds of good things. So my goal this year is to have enough calendula that I can actually collect enough of the orange flowers to use them, because right now I have to buy calendula if I want to use it for something. I'll leave a link in the comments so that you can find out why calendula would be good for you too. The green beans are doing great in here. We got some little blooms starting to come on. The parsley has loved this rain and cooler weather. Now right here is a Cosmo, and I have a lot of Cosmos also. They pretty much filled this bed last year and laid down all of their seed also. You can see back here, there's a lot of them. So I left them because if any of you are in my area and want some Cosmos or calendulas, just let me know. The okra is coming along. It likes it hot. So even though I don't really like it hot, it needs to warm up so that we can get some okra going here. Here's another view of how pretty that kale looks with that fresh mulch around it. I just love it. And that kale is still huge. I've been picking kale as well as raspberry leaves and beet greens and some comfrey to give to the rabbits in their box. All of that will help them. And I've been giving some comfrey to the chickens also. I didn't know if I would get a garden tour in this week due to rain. 2.5 inches in 2 days. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope that you've learned something from this video. If there was something that I talked about that you want to know more about, please be sure and leave a comment. I gotta let you go because after 2.5 inches of rain, there's some severe mowing that needs to be done, and Mark's waiting for me to get done so he can do that. Until next time, blessings on you and yours.